The robots are the kingmakers, autonomous premium in a post-monetary world. Section 1. Introduction. The end of monetary monopoly. For most of the modern era, monetary dominance followed a simple logic. Power concentrated and money followed power. The British pound anchored the 19th century. The U.S. dollar defined the post-Bretton Woods world. Monetary premium accrued to the currency backed by the deepest capital markets, the strongest military, and the broadest trade network. Network effects reinforced the hierarchy. The more a currency was used for trade, debt issuance, and reserves, the more valuable it became as a store of value. Monetary premium was self-reinforcing, but that structure is now fragmenting. The world is no longer organized around a single, uncontested reserve system. Instead, it is splintering into monetary cohorts with distinct preferences. The U.S. legacy bloc continues to use the dollar as medium of exchange and U.S. treasuries as store of value. The BRICS and Eastern Bloc increasingly prefer local currencies for trade settlement and gold for long-term reserves. The European bloc maintains the euro within its regional monetary sphere. The crypto and tech cohort operates on open, permissionless rails, favoring Bitcoin, stablecoins, and tokenized assets. Regional systems such as PAPs in Africa demonstrate the rise of localized settlement networks independent of dollar clearing. At first glance, this appears to be a multipolar geopolitical contest. But a deeper shift is underway. The decisive selector of monetary dominance is beginning to change. Section 2. The Great Unbundling of Money. Historically, money bundled three functions into one dominant instrument: store of value, medium of exchange, settlement rail. The dollar fulfilled all three. That bundling created monetary monopoly. Today, that bundle is breaking apart. A sender may hold tokenized gold as a store of value. A receiver may prefer US dollars or renminbi as a medium of exchange. The transaction itself may route over Bitcoin's Lightning Network or a programmable Ethereum-based rail. DEX infrastructure, atomic conversion, and cross-chain routing increasingly allow these preferences to operate independently. This unbundling reduces the coercive power of network effects. It enables monetary pluralism. Correspondent banking, once the bottleneck of global settlement, becomes less essential when assets can move atomically, wallet to wallet, with conversion embedded into the transaction layer. Money is no longer defined by empire. It is defined by routing. Section 3. Monetary premium versus autonomous premium. To understand what happens next, we must distinguish two selection forces. Monetary premium arises from human trust, historical stability, political backing, military power, legal enforcement, institutional depth. It is social, geopolitical, and path-dependent. Autonomous premium arises from machine preference. It is conferred when autonomous systems, AI agents, robotic processes, algorithmic treasury allocators, systematically select an asset or network because it optimizes for uptime, deterministic settlement, liquidity depth, programmability, latency, application programming interface accessibility, minimal friction, censorship resilience balanced against survivability. Monetary premium is human gravity. Autonomous premium is computational gravity. In a world where machine-to-machine commerce begins to dwarf human transaction volume, computational gravity may become the stronger force. This content is brought to you by Bobby Giggs. Promote your brand here and reach a wide audience across platforms like YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Follow the links in the description to get started. Section 4. The Rise of Agentic Commerce. Autonomous systems are not theoretical abstractions. They already execute treasury management, arbitrage, market making, supply chain coordination, application programming interface payments, streaming microtransactions, smart contract execution. Unlike humans, they operate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, and they scale infinitely. As agentic systems multiply, potentially by orders of magnitude relative to human economic actors, they become the dominant source of transaction flow. And machines optimize differently. They do not care about national prestige. They do not care about historical legacy. They do not care about symbolic reserve status. They care about whether a rail is always online, whether settlement is final, whether conversion is seamless, whether fees are predictable, whether liquidity is deep enough to absorb scale. This is where the subtle structural advantage emerges. Section 5. Evaluating the cohorts under autonomous selection. Let us revisit the monetary blocks, now through the lens of autonomous premium. U.S. legacy block. Strengths: deep liquidity, regulatory clarity, institutional trust, massive capital markets. Constraints: 9 to 5 banking infrastructure legacy, settlement friction, potential politicization, sanctions freezes. Stablecoins mitigate some constraints, but freeze capability introduces conditional permission. Autonomous systems will use these rails, but not exclusively. BRICS and gold-oriented block. Strengths: gold as neutral store of value, regional settlement experiments such as mBridge, reduced dollar dependency. Constraints: capital controls, notably renminbi restrictions, limited open chain integration, regulatory fragmentation. China's prohibition of open renminbi stablecoins demonstrates state control preference over permissionless interoperability. That limits autonomous premium accumulation. European bloc. Strengths: institutional stability, Eurozone depth. Constraints: slower innovation adoption, fragmented regulatory execution across member states. Crypto and tech cohort. Strengths: open, permissionless rails, 24-hour uptime, programmable liquidity, atomic settlement, global accessibility, neutral routing capacity. Bitcoin as an asset may be volatile, limiting pure store of value comfort, but Bitcoin as a settlement rail remains among the most resilient and censorship-resistant infrastructures in existence. Ethereum and similar networks offer programmability and composability unmatched by legacy systems. Stablecoins on open chains bridge volatility concerns. From an autonomous optimization perspective, this cohort offers maximum optionality, maximum uptime, maximum programmability. That combination compounds autonomous premium, not because of ideology, but because of architecture. Section 6. From monetary empire to machine arbitration. The critical shift is not the decline of the dollar. It is the decline of monopoly bundling. In a modular world, the United States may retain monetary premium, gold may retain neutrality premium, stablecoins may retain compliance premium. But the rail that accumulates autonomous premium may increasingly determine transaction gravity, and transaction gravity drives liquidity. Liquidity drives stability. Stability reinforces adoption. Machines become kingmakers not through politics, but through routing volume. Section 7. Conclusion. The selector has changed. In the 20th century, reserve status followed empire. In the 21st century, monetary influence may follow infrastructure performance. As autonomous agents scale beyond human transaction volume, the decisive competitive variable shifts from geopolitical dominance to computational preference. Assets and rails that optimize for uptime, determinism, programmability, liquidity, and survivability accumulate autonomous premium. And autonomous premium compounds. In the post-monetary monopoly era, empires may issue currency, but it is the machines that choose which money moves.